And Prince Siddhartha was shocked. Are there more people like this? Or is this the only one? And the driver said, it is a common condition. If people do not die before, they get old. And could I get like that? And my wife? Said Siddhartha. Yes, you too are subject to getting old. Further on, the prince was confronted by another strange sight. A sick person lying at the side of the road, in pain, moaning. Again he asked the driver, who is that person? Why does he cry so piteously? Can we do something to help him? Oh no, don't go near him. He has some disease. Maybe it's contagious. You don't want to get sick. You mean I also can get to be like that? Yes, you too can get sick like that. We are all subject to sickness. Go on some more, said the prince. They hadn't gone far when a funeral procession crossed the road in front of them. People mourning and carrying a bier, a stretcher with a corpse on it. What is this? Said Siddhartha. Why are these people so unhappy? Why are they crying and what are they carrying? Oh, that is a dead person. They're taking him to cremate him down by the river. Will this happen to me also? Of course it will. Everyone who is born will die. Siddhartha was deeply touched by these three sights. How can people enjoy themselves when we are all subject to becoming old, getting sick, and dying? Go back. I've seen enough. On the way back, however, he saw a fourth strange sight. A yogi or a monk sitting at one side of the road beneath a tree, calm and composed. And Prince Siddhartha said, who can that man be? Today I've seen many kinds of people. I've seen happy people. I've seen sad people. I've seen an old person, and I've seen a sick person, and a dead person. But never in my entire life have I seen anyone with so peaceful a countenance. But he looks very poor. He has only the clothes that he's wearing, and a bowl and a stick. How can anyone look so peaceful with so few possessions? And the driver explained to him, this is someone who has left his home and family in order to search for truth. Why we grow old, why we get sick, and why we die. And when Siddhartha heard this, he knew that this is what he also must do. Leave his home and family to go off in search of truth. You see, enlightenment didn't come to him just when he sat under the Bodhi tree. He had had many enlightenment experiences before that. When he saw those four sights, that was an enlightenment for him. Now, we see old people quite often. Perhaps you even live with some. Your grandmother or your grandfather. See them every day. On sick people. Quite often we see them. What does it do to us when we see such people? Does it have any effect upon us at all? Does it cause us to think and wonder why? Or have we grown so used to it that it doesn't do anything to us anymore? You know, I don't really accept the story that Siddhartha had never seen an old person before. I can't believe that. His father was old. His father's counselors were old. But on the times that he'd seen old people before, perhaps nothing happened to him. On this occasion, when he went out into the city and saw these sights, it was as if he was seeing them for the first time. With a new mind, sensitive and receptive. So, if we reflect upon these things, when we see somebody old or sick or a dead person, don't turn away and think, oh, it's ugly, I don't want to see this. These are lessons for us. We need to see and we need to understand this. And because we do not understand, we are afraid of the realities of life. We hope that somehow we will not grow old or get sick or die. All around us there are people getting old and getting sick and dying, but somehow, in a strange way, we imagine that it won't happen to us. But it does. And when it happens to us, and we don't understand it, we suffer so much. Now, I think that we should be educated from very young, like these children, about the realities of life. This should be part of our education, of everyone's education. But our education is very often miseducation, or very incomplete education. It leaves us half-baked. And so we're not prepared for things that happen to us. They teach us certain things in school and university which enable us to earn a living. But it doesn't enable us to live properly. We're only partially educated. And we accept it because it's gone on for so long. We never question our education. But actually, it is a very bad kind of education we get. And it gets worse as time goes on because we get more and more information pumped into us, like petrol into a car. More knowledge. But they never explain to us how this knowledge should be used. So we use it only for ourselves, selfishly, to become richer or more powerful, something like that. We are never helped to acquire wisdom, which we need very much in order to know how to learn, how to use our knowledge properly. Not just for ourselves, but for our community. We have so much knowledge, more than ever before. And you know the old saying that a little knowledge is a dangerous thing? Have you heard this? A little knowledge is a dangerous thing? It's true. How much more so is a lot of knowledge? Much knowledge is much more dangerous. And the more knowledge we get, the more danger we are in, both personally and to others. No one is concerned about wisdom. We're only concerned about knowledge. And our knowledge is often used for bad purposes, developing weapons. The atomic bomb came from knowledge, not from wisdom. Germ warfare came from knowledge, not from wisdom. The scientists who do these things have knowledge, not wisdom. Why is this? Is it because wisdom is in short supply? Not at all. Wisdom is available to everyone today in quantities unheard of before. The world's wisdom of all ages past is available to all of us. But we don't take advantage of it. We're only concerned about knowledge for ourselves. Because we do not understand how we live, how we exist, how our lives go on from day to day. We do not understand this. We think, oh, I work for a living, I pay my way, it's enough. No, it's not like this. We are not complete in ourselves. We do not live by ourselves and for ourselves. We live as members of a community. Our lives by ourselves mean nothing, no meaning at all. Our lives individually in isolation have no meaning. This is what is meant by anatta, non-self. Have you heard this term? What does it mean to you, anatta? Sorry? Yes, what does it mean? Don't just substitute one adjective for another. What does it mean? What does it mean to you? Yes. Yeah, what does it mean? Don't just use another word. What does it mean? Give a definition. What does it mean to you? No self, no ego. It means you are nothing? Huh? You see, this is what I meant when I asked you, have you any questions? Have you no doubts? Certainly you have questions. Certainly you have doubts, or you should do. You're not dinosaurs. Are you? So you try to find out about these things. It doesn't mean that we are nothing. It means we are not what we think we are. Now, in order to explain this and illustrate this, I would like to ask you to take a look at yourselves right now. At the clothes you're wearing. Nice clothes. Where did you get them? Make them yourselves? Kaki Joe? No. None of us made our clothes ourselves. None of us made our glasses. None of us grew our own food or built our own houses. Where did they come from? They came from other people. What does it mean? We do not live by ourselves. It's impossible. We live depending upon other people in the community. Right? You agree or not? Are you sure? Don't say, well, I paid for them. I didn't get these clothes for free. I didn't steal them. I paid for them. It's not just as simple as that. Doesn't matter if you paid for them. If you had all the money in the world, but nobody was making clothes, could you get clothes like this? You'd have to make them yourself. Imagine if we had to make our own clothes. They wouldn't be half as nice as they are. And build our own houses. Well, we could build huts. I've built huts and lived in it quite all right. But rather primitive. And I prefer to go by car if I'm going for a long distance than to walk. I wouldn't have the faintest idea how to go about making a car. Imagine if we had to make a car ourselves. It would be impossible. Cars and houses and all these other things are produced only by people working in cooperation. What I'm saying is we must understand what it means deeply to live as members of a community. Not just benefiting and receiving things from the community, but contributing. Putting something back. We cannot go on taking and taking without putting something back. We have to put something back. Otherwise, we'll get deeper and deeper and deeper into debt and never get out. We have to put something back. So, what can we put back into society? What do you put back into society? Anyone dare say? Huh? Help in what way? Huh? Help the sick? How often do you help sick people? Every day? Oh, once a year maybe. Not every day. But every day you eat and you wear clothes and you live in a house that somebody's built. So no, that's not good enough. You have a job, no? What kind of a job? What do you work as? Sorry? Metallurgist. Now, why do you work as a metallurgist? Whose lives? You're making tools. Okay. It doesn't matter what work you do. It matters why we do it. Why do people work? Don't know? Huh? Survival? Another answer, come on. Why do you work? You all work or not? So surely you know why you work. Huh? Or you never thought about it? Earn money. Come on, some more reasons. Don't wait for me to tell you. Survival, to earn money, bring up one's children. Nothing else? Oh, well. I got news for you. Good news. Happy New Year. Happy birthday. I'm going to enlighten you. Are you ready? It might be too much for you, I don't know. You have to be ready for enlightenment. I'm going to enlighten you. I'm going to change your lives drastically. But I don't know if you're ready for it. You have to be careful. Huh? Dare I risk it? All over the world, most people work, as you have said, for survival, for money, or to raise their children. And work in this way becomes a drudge, hard, often meaningless, with little satisfaction. We have to see our work in a different way, otherwise it's going to kill us. We should work not just for money, but as a way of service. Find out how your work is serving others, helping others. Follow your work out after it leaves your hands or whatever you do. Follow your work out. See where it goes to. See how it affects other people. Does your work affect other people? Of course it does. Find out how it affects other people. Does it affect them in a good way or in a bad way? And if you see that it's having a good effect in the world around you, how do you feel? You get the feeling of satisfaction. This is quite apart from getting paid for it. You get a feeling of satisfaction, which is a spiritual quality. Our work, whatever it is, as long as it's not harmful, can be seen as a spiritual activity, as part of our Dhamma practice, not separate from it. You carry Dhamma with you to your work. Don't just keep it in the temple, or for the time when you burn joss sticks at home, or maybe chant a little bit or sit in meditation at home. Not that. Take it with you to work. Take it with you to the market. Take it with you on holiday, wherever you go. Now, I don't seem to have inspired anybody. I don't see anyone looking enlightened, as I expected, or sitting there with blank faces. What happened? Well, you have to apply this. Test it. Don't disbelieve what I've said. That's not good enough. You have to test it. Test it and see if it works or not. Huh? Every day, so many people are working for us in countless ways so that we can live well. Do you know the name of the man who made the first glasses? I also don't. But I know that somebody did. And I'm grateful to him, because if nobody had made glasses, I wouldn't be able to see very well at all. And lots of other people are the same. So, we should be grateful that there are people working for us. People that we don't know. And in turn, we must put something back. And whatever work we're doing, as long as it's not hurtful or harmful, is a way of putting something back. You must see this. It's very, very important to see this. And your work will take on a completely different meaning. And next time you see me, maybe you'll be able to tell me, oh, you remember when you explained that to us about working not just for money? I tried it. It works. It's true. So many people see religion or Dhamma as something special, something for special days like Wesak Day or Christmas or New Year. And the other days of the year they regard as ordinary or not special. I think by making religion special like this, we destroy it. It's very bad. I think religion shouldn't be anything special at all. I think it should be something ordinary, like the air we breathe. Ordinary. We breathe all the time, but we don't think about it. And when I say it's ordinary, I don't mean it's unimportant. It is important, very important. We cannot do without air. We can do without water for a while. We can do without food for longer. But we cannot do without air for 1 minute. It's important, even though it's very ordinary and common. So, don't make of Dhamma something special. Try to see it as something ordinary, but something very important also. Not just for a few days a year, but for every day. I think we should ask ourselves, what do we want in life? Don't let anyone else tell us what we want. We should know for ourselves what we want. I will tell you what I want, and see if you agree with it. I want to be happy. I like people to help me and be nice to me and kind to me. I don't want to be sad. I don't want to suffer. I don't like people to be hurtful, harmful to me. Right? How about you? the same or not? Of course. We must begin with ourselves, understand ourselves. There's no other place to begin. And when we understand ourselves, we will also understand others, because they feel exactly the same way. And then we will know what to do, how to live together with others, living by what is known as the golden rule. You know the golden rule? How it goes? Something like this. Do to others what you like others to do to you. Or don't do to others what you don't like others to do to you. Positive and negative aspects. Everyone understands this. It's very simple. But no one follows it. Everybody wants everything to go their way. Don't care about others. So Dhamma is a matter of living in this world. And understanding what we've got. Well, actually, I would like to have a bit more participation on your part. Some questions, rather than me just talking like this. Otherwise, I might think that you're getting bored. Or I might become bored. There is a tendency in many people to wait for others to teach them everything, instead of making an effort and finding out for themselves. Now, I'm not very fond of this approach. I say if you don't put anything in, you can't expect to get anything out. So make an effort. Now I've discovered from my own experience in writing books that the effort to express oneself results in clarification. And sometimes things come out of my mind that I didn't know were there. In actual fact, I become my own teacher. So I encourage people to express themselves and to ask questions instead of waiting to be taught. Well, you mean, is it predestined that we are here like this? Not really, no. It is neither predestination nor an accident. It is a result of causes, like everything else. But you see, we had a choice about coming here. We didn't have to be here. We had choice. There's always choice. Why we chose to come here like this, we don't know, perhaps. Or we know only part of the causes. If you think that everything is predestined and fixed, then you tie yourself up and you limit yourself. The present is always open, and there is only the present. The past doesn't exist, it's gone, and the future doesn't exist. There is only now, and the now is always open. The present is a result of the past, but the present is open. Now look, we left our footwear outside there. So, probably we'll go out the same way as we came in. But do you tell me that there is no choice? That we have to go out the same way that we came in? We can go out that way, or that way, or that way. There's always choice. But our conditioning limits us. Just because we left our footwear there, the probability is that we shall go out the same way that we came in. But we don't have to. We can choose. We're not bound except by our ignorance. Perhaps you want me to say that we're all here together like this because of some common karma, because of yen. Maybe. Who knows? I don't. I'm scared of using this word karma too much. We have to be careful. Like when I asked, what does anatta mean? Somebody gave me another word instead of an explanation of it. No self, no ego. These are just alternative words. It's not an explanation, a definition. So we have to be careful with the words we use. Don't just use other people's words without understanding their meaning. Do we know for ourselves that karma is effect? Have we experienced it directly? Or is it just a belief? Huh? Or is it something you feel? Now, there are things that we know directly, and there are other things that we don't know directly, but that we feel, and we can't explain. So we say, oh, this is yen. I like this word, actually. It's my favorite word. It sort of fills a vacuum. It explains things that cannot be explained, or sort of. You know, when Prince Siddhartha was born, he was a bodhisattva, what we call a bodhisattva, posat. Huh? But do you think that he knew he was a posat? Yes or no? 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 Why not? When did he know he was a posat, a bodhisattva? only after he became a Buddha. And he looked back and saw that for many lives he had been a bodhisattva. Now when a bodhisattva is a bodhisattva, he doesn't know that he's a bodhisattva. Only when he becomes fully enlightened as a Buddha does he know. But although Prince Siddhartha probably could not understand or explain what was happening to him, he felt an urge, something forcing him onwards, to leave the palace, to leave the luxury and the comfort of his palace, something forcing him on. It wasn't really a choice that he had to make until at the final moment. Before that time, he was dissatisfied. Now, why would somebody be dissatisfied living a life like that, with everything provided for him, all that money could buy? Why would he be dissatisfied? He couldn't explain. He had a beautiful wife, kind father, a lovely child, but he wasn't content. He couldn't explain why. This is something that he felt, and it forced him to leave the palace and go off in search of truth. So there are things that we know in our heads, and there are things that we feel in our hearts. We should be able to listen to ourselves and combine the head and the heart, using both, not just one or the other. Have we had any direct experience of the law of karma, which convinces us this is true? If we haven't, we must be very careful about using this word to explain conditions. Say, oh, that person is suffering, that's his karma. As if we know it's very bad to judge that person. I think it's okay to say about our own situation, oh, it must be my karma, because that helps us to accept it and do something about it, to deal with it. But to just dismiss other people's situation as being their karma, I think that's not good. So we have to be careful. Now, as Buddhists, we try to improve our lives, improve our living, to discipline ourselves, to restrain ourselves, not to do bad things, but to do good. Why? Nobody forces us to. Nobody is standing behind us with a gun saying, okay, you better discipline yourself now, not to do bad and to do good. It's by choice. But why? Why have we decided to do this? Do you know? You must think about it. It's very important before you go any further. Why are we doing what we are doing? Don't just follow other people. What are our motives? If we do not know, if we do not understand, then we might go the wrong way. We might waste a lot of time and energy and life. It's very important to ask ourselves, why am I doing what I am doing. And this, if we go about it in the right way, is meditation. Not just sitting down cross-legged, trying to keep your mind calm and quiet, but to understand things clearly about ourselves. You don't have to answer now, but take this question home with you and ask yourself, why am I doing this? What do I hope to get out of it? And you might be surprised at your answers, if you're honest. You might find that you're doing all these things in order to get something out, to contact, to make merit, or to become enlightened, or to be recognized by others, or to go to heaven when you die, or to get some material benefit, and so on. Is this correct? Is this why we restrain ourselves from doing bad and try to do good? Is it not enough just to restrain ourselves from doing bad and to do good without thinking of getting anything else? Is it not enough to live like that? To do good just because it's the right thing to do, without thinking of getting anything in return. Isn't it enough? I think Buddhism has degenerated largely into a system of making merit. Degenerated. It has become, in this sense, a materialistic way instead of the great spiritual way that it once was. People always talk about, making merit, make offerings, and they do so with the idea of getting back 10 times more than what they put in, or 100 times. We try to calculate and manipulate the law instead of letting the law operate by itself. Instead of being happy with the opportunity to do good and our capacity and ability to do good. Seeing that we benefit so much from others and what we can put back is only very, very little compared with what we get out. To think of getting anything more out of life is not correct. We've got so much already. And if we do not understand how much we've already got, it's not good to get any more. We must first understand how much we've got. And the natural response to that is gratitude. And the feeling, what can I give? What can... And so we enter actively into life as participants, knowing that each one of us is important and that we have a part to play in this world. Do you know what I mean? Or not? Yes or no? Nothing. So many Buddhist people expect monks to do everything for them. They depend upon monks like other people depend upon drugs. They become monk addicts. As if the monk can eat for them, or go to the toilet for them, or die for them, or something like this, become enlightened for them. It's not possible. What is the relationship between monk and lay people? Is the monk a savior? Or a Superman? Sorry, wrong color. Superman's is blue. Many Buddhists think that Dhamma, or they appear to think that Dhamma is only for monks or people who stay in temples. Do you think like this? It's not. It's not exclusive like that. It's for anyone. Even these children can understand it, I think. Or they could be helped to understand. The center place of Buddhism belongs only to Dhamma, or truth. And that is not a person. It's not even the Buddha. Buddha does not occupy central place in Buddhism, or should not. Now, does Dhamma depend upon Buddha, or does Buddha depend upon Dhamma? Which came first? Buddha or Dhamma? Oh, this is an easy question. Come on. Come on. Respond, please. Which came first? Buddha or Dhamma? Huh? What did you say? Can't hear. Dhamma. Buddha, no? Why did Dhamma come first? Now, you said Dhamma, so you must have a reason why you said Dhamma. Huh? Why did Dhamma come first? Huh? Buddha? You said on the way here that you can understand my English quite well. But you didn't understand other people's English so good. Perhaps people don't understand my pronunciation very well. My accent is strange, no? Oh, come on. Why did you say Dhamma came first? Dhamma is knowledge? Yes. Oh, that is a good answer. Dhamma is truth and it has always been there. So the Buddha has not always been there. Huh? Come on, follow your thought through. That's correct. Good. So, a person becomes a Buddha by understanding Dhamma, right? Is that what you're saying? And the Dhamma has always been there. Yes, that's true. So, the central place of Buddhism belongs only to Dhamma, not to Buddha. Why? Well, the Buddha said, he who sees the Dhamma sees the Buddha. If a person were to follow behind me, he said, holding the edge of my robe for 100 years, but with a heart full of lobha, dosa, moha, greed, hatred and delusion, he would never see me. But if another person living far away from me, with a heart purified of greed, hatred and delusion, he would see me all the time. This means that the form or the body is not the Buddha. We cannot see the Buddha with these eyes. That's not the real Buddha, the body. The real Buddha is Dhamma. So in this sense, we can still see the Buddha today, if we understand Dhamma. So only the Dhamma can be at the center of Buddhism. No person is not like Christianity, with Jesus at the center. If you take Jesus away from Christianity, there's nothing left. It all collapses. It depends so much upon Jesus. But if you take the Buddha away from Buddhism, you've still got Dhamma, his teachings, what he tried to teach. The truth does not depend upon the Buddha. The Buddha depends upon the truth. Have I lost you? Nowadays, we follow personality. This teacher or that teacher, this monk or that guru, this Rinpoche, that master. We follow personality. We get sidetracked instead of finding out what is true. We become slaves. And people ask each other, who is your teacher? Who is your master? And usually people will name some famous or important person. And you ask them, oh, then what did you learn from him? What did he teach you? And very often they cannot say anything else. They have only the name of the important person or the famous person. It's not enough. We must find the substance, not just the appearance. Something to illustrate this point. If you can see it from there, what does it look like? Or you can come and have a look. Come on. No, don't touch. What does it look like? Come see. Don't be lazy. Jangan malas. Stone. Stone. Huh? Yes, it's a seed. But not the kind of seed that you're thinking of. It's a seed that I'm going to plant in your minds. Stone. In appearance, is it beautiful or ugly? Both swear. Well, do you think it's beautiful or ugly? Huh? Would you buy this thing? What would you need it for? No, it's not a particularly beautiful thing, is it? Huh? Go on, it's a simple question. Not beautiful, huh? Right. In appearance, it is not beautiful on the outside. But don't go away, don't go away. Come back again. There's more to it than meets the eye. This is why I'm telling you. Appearance and reality. Don't be content with just the outside appearance. Look deeper. This and that. Huh? Huh? No, it's from India. Would you have guessed from the outside what it is like on the inside? You wouldn't. It's a seed, right? My meaning is it's a seed. Planted in your minds. Remember it. It's a lesson about life. Don't just look at appearance. Try to find the reality. Appearances are deceptive. Now, who can ask me an intelligent question? May have this. I will use a technique, a bribe. I can't hear. Can you speak a little louder? Yeah, I can help you. Say, quite honestly, I don't know. And say, also, nobody knows. Nobody knows. Best answer. Moreover, we don't care how life began. It's not important. Do you remember being born? I've only ever met one person who claimed that he could remember his own birth. If we can't remember our own birth, what are we worrying about the infinite past for? We're not going to change it.
Nobody knows. Nobody was around at that time. The only honest thing we can say is we don't know. Moreover, nobody else knows. And it's not important. The only time there ever is now. This is the only time we can live. So it's important what we do now. Not worrying about the past like that. That's a waste of time. And this is the way that Buddhism considers it. A waste of time. And other people, they've got their beliefs. And many of them are content with their beliefs. Oh, God created the earth. And still they don't know. They're content with beliefs. Prisoners of belief. Instead of saying honestly, we don't know. We're not afraid to say we don't know. And when you can say you don't know, you leave yourself open to learn. But if you think you know when you don't know, you're stuck. You can't go on anymore. So the best thing is to say, I don't know. Personally, I don't care either. Not important. Dare you say to anyone, I don't know? And dare you say to them, you also don't know? Why not? Turn this question back to them. Confront them with their own ignorance. They try to catch you out, you turn it back to them. They also don't know. They're just believers. I am not a believer. I don't believe in Buddhism. I'm a knower. The Buddha didn't ask anyone to believe. He asked people to doubt and to find out. Now, how do you know water is wet? You read it in a book somewhere, or your teacher taught you that water is wet? You believe that water is wet? Huh? Why not? Huh? You're saying no. Well, you must have a reason why you say no. Be careful when you answer my questions, because I'll ask you one way or the other. What is your reason for saying this? Huh? Why did you say you don't believe water is wet? Huh? Because you've experienced it. You don't need to believe anymore. You're free of belief on this point. You know. You've gone beyond belief. We believe when we don't know. And when we know, we don't believe. We're free of it. Now, suppose I give you something to drink, and I tell you it's sweet. You look at me and you think, well, he's a monk, and monks usually don't tell lies, or they shouldn't tell lies, so therefore it must be sweet, like he says. You believe, right? People believe all kinds of things that other people tell them. All kinds of silly things. But when you drink it, when you taste it for yourself, you will know whether it is sweet or not. Not a matter of belief anymore. We must not be in the same position as those who talk about God. Believe in God. We must not be in this position. We must be free of that. They tie themselves up and imprison themselves in belief. We must have faith. Yes. But not belief. Now, what is the difference between belief and faith? Even the dictionary is wrong on this. I thought of a way of explaining to Christians so that they could understand the difference between belief and faith. Usually they think they're the same. But if you ask a Christian, Do you believe in Satan? What do you think they will say? Huh? Yes, probably they will say yes. Then ask them, do you have faith in Satan? What do you think they will say? No. Why not? Because belief and faith are different. We must have faith. Faith in Dhamma. Not belief in Dhamma, we must have faith in Dhamma. Now, how does faith in Dhamma arise? It arises from experience of it. And when we have experience of it, that it works, that it is true, that it is good, then faith arises. We know that it works. So faith is born of knowledge and experience. Belief exists when there is no knowledge and experience. You understand what I mean? Or not? Oh dear, I don't know what's happening. I think, is it perhaps time to stop? No. Oh, well, I don't know what's happening with you out there. Huh? Not much response, not much feedback. Have you got something to say? Instead of no. Are you bored? Ah, good. Have you got something to share with us? That's not true. Everybody's got something to share.
You mentioned that regarding the Buddha, we discovered that he was the Bodhisattva. Becoming the Buddha, he already knew.
How did he know?
During the first watch, before becoming a Buddha, there's the first watch. We saw the previous life. I think
Okay. Then in that case, yes. Right, but yes, okay, you can say that. But that's not what I meant. That was part of his enlightenment. That was part of the first watch was part of it. But before that, I meant he didn't know. A bodhisattva doesn't know that he's a bodhisattva until he becomes a Buddha, right? So all this talk about, oh, I'm a bodhisattva, and all this is just empty. We hear so many people complaining, claiming to be bodhisattvas these days, and living Buddhas and enlightened and so on. And we must maybe. Last year when I was in Melbourne, somebody came to visit me, and an Australian man. And he told me, oh, I'm a Pacceka Buddha. Pacceka Buddha is a silent Buddha, one who doesn't preach. Oh, I said, one of those, are you? Plenty of them around, They're coming up like mushrooms now. These bodhisattvas and Buddhas and so on. So I think that a bodhisattva would not know that he's a bodhisattva. That's my point. Yeah? Okay. Tell me something that you would like to know that maybe I can explain. Perhaps I've been talking about things that you're not interested in. Oh, you've got it already. Why did I become a monk? Well, if that had been your first question, you wouldn't have got it. I don't know. You see, life is like a tree. which has two main parts. The part above the ground that we can see, and the part below the ground which we cannot see. But just because we cannot see the part below the ground, it doesn't mean that it's not there. Indeed, if the part below the ground were not there, the part above the ground would also not be there, because it depends upon the part below the ground. Right? You understand? So our lives are like that. We do not see all the causes in anything. In fact, we see only very, very few of the causes in anything. And it's like that with me becoming a monk. I only know a little. I was born in England. Why? I don't know. Any more than you know why you were born in Malaysia. You really don't know. It wasn't something that we chose to do, to happen to us. If being born in a certain place was a matter of choice, do you think the people in Somalia would choose to be born there? No. This happens to us. Why? We don't know. Anyway, in this life, I was born in England and you were born in Malaysia, right? And I was brought up as a kind of Christian. And I used to go to church, I used to believe, I used to pray to God and all this stuff. But after I left school, I lost interest in religion, or it just fell away. It's not that I deliberately abandoned it, just forgot about it. Woke up one morning and it wasn't there anymore. And so for some years I was without a religion or a brand name. So it wouldn't be correct to say that I converted from Christianity to Buddhism, because there was a space of some years in between, right? Now, go back to my childhood. There were two things of significance that stand out as I now look back. First one, I never liked to eat meat. In a family of meat eaters, I was the odd one, fussy. Now, lots of kids are like that. In itself, it's nothing unusual, perhaps. But together with the other thing, it makes sense. In India, there are lots of vegetarians. Big proportion of the population is vegetarian. Well, maybe not a big proportion, but there are millions of vegetarians in India. It's a way of life. So, the other thing, from childhood, I was called to go to India. Something called me. I didn't know anything about India. I'd never been to India. None of my family had ever been to India. But even the word India did something to me. It called me. But it wasn't until many years later that I got there. And in 1970, when I was wandering around India, visiting some of the ancient places, I came to some Buddhist cave temples, which had been carved out of the mountain about 2,000 years ago. And I knew nothing about Buddhism. I'd met no Buddhists, I'd read no books on Buddhism. I didn't know anything about Buddhism. The only thing that I thought I knew was that the Buddha was a great fat man who sat under a tree waiting for people to come along and feed him. And even that was wrong. But when I went to these cave temples, I had a strong feeling that I was coming home again after being away for a long time. Have I lived in India before? I don't know. I dare not say, because I haven't seen directly. And shortly after this, when I read something about Buddhism, I thought, oh, this is clear, and there's no doubt in my mind that this is the way I must go. And following that, it wasn't much of a choice I had to make to become a monk. But I became a monk, I can honestly say, with the idea of becoming enlightened. Not with the idea of becoming famous or rich or anything like that, or leading an easy life. No. I can honestly and truthfully say that I became a monk to become enlightened. The fact that after all these years I'm still not enlightened doesn't change that. And it was a big shock to me when I first went to Thailand to find that this spirit of brotherhood and community that I expected to find there wasn't there. In many of the temples I found a lot of pettiness and competition amongst the monks. Not very friendly. It was a big shock because I'd been with a monk in Penang who was very kind and very calm and quiet, very nice. And in my naivety, ignorance, I sort of thought, oh, all the monks in Thailand are going to be like this. So it was a shock when I found that they weren't. There are good monks in Thailand, of course, but out of 300,000, there are not so many. It has become a tradition there, not really something to live by. Buddhism has become a thing of tradition that people accept without understanding. I don't see it like that at all. It's not something of the museum. It's something alive for today, to be lived, to be experienced. But I was lucky because I'd already seen something of Dhamma in India. I'd seen something of the contents and not just the container. So I can go on. And I think that I have some things worth sharing with other people. And that's why I go around giving talks like this. I think I have something worth sharing. Now, not everybody is ready to receive what I have to give. Not everyone. But there are some people, I know. And so I continue to do this, to try to inform people that the container is not the contents, that the appearance is not the reality. And some people can understand this. This is you. Now, if someone asks you who you are, you'll probably reply with your name. Are you your name? Just a name? What is your name? It's nothing. That's not you. And even your name is not yours. Your name is not for you. Your name is for other people to call you by. And when you talk to yourself, as you all do, as we all do, you don't call yourself by your name. You say, I or me or you, but you don't call yourself by your name. It means your name is not you. Your name is not yours. It's for other people. So who are you? We don't know. We don't know who we are. We're just starting to learn. How many faces have we got? Only one? No, dozens. Changes all the time. Happy face, sad face, angry face, bored face, tired face, jealous face. Oh, so many faces. And we wear different faces for different people. You watch yourself. We're all actors. We've got a pocket full of masks that we wear for different people. Different one for home. We come back from school or work and take off the mask that we used there and put on our home mask. Then let our hair down and relax. And we expect people at home to understand us, so we can be sad, we can be angry, we can... anything at home. We expect people to understand us, and they expect us to understand them. We can be more natural at home. But really, even that is not our real face. That's just our home mask. We've got masks for friends, we've got masks for strangers, we've got masks for enemies, we've got masks for superiors, we've got masks for equals, we've got masks for inferiors. So many masks. So many faces. Which one is the real one? Is it time? You don't know. Nobody knows anything anymore now. Well, I think if there are no more questions, we shall wind up here. If you want to go on, you will force me. And I will give in.
After you talk about masks, would you think it's important that we need to have masks when we interact in society?
Oh yeah, I do. But we must know which mask we've got on at which time. Huh? And yeah, sometimes we need an angry mask in order to express something. Anger can be useful at times. Everything has its place. Imagine a play where the actors have only one face, one expression, like robots. How boring. We must know which mask we're wearing when we're wearing it. So we're in control. And when we play a part, we must know not just our own parts, but the parts of the other actors that we play with. A wife must know her husband's part, and the husband must know the wife's part. The children must know the parents' part. The parents must know their children's part. Friends must know each other's part. Employers and workers must know each other's part. We must know, not just our own part. Imagine acting in a play. Do you do plays at school here? Huh?
Not that much nowadays.
But, I mean, in the past you did, no? I don't know what kind of plays you acted in school, but you know what I mean, don't you? Let's talk about Romeo and Juliet, this very famous Shakespeare play. Everyone knows about that now. Do you think the person who plays Romeo has to learn just his own lines? Only his own lines? Doesn't he also have to know Juliet's lines so he knows where to come in and say what? They must know the parts of all the other actors too. So we must know our own part and also the parts of other people. Now, in this situation, right now, where there is a speaker and there are listeners, Without one, the other cannot be. Without the listener, there is no speaker. Without the speaker, there are no listeners. Each depends upon the other. So I always say that the success of a Dhamma talk depends just as much upon the listeners as it does upon the speaker. That's why I wanted some more, participation. Don't just sit there and expect to be spoon-fed. Work for something. Get something. Dig. If you're not prepared to dig, you won't get very much. Just sitting there waiting to be taught instead of learning. It's much more important. And you don't have to feel that, you must be super respectful towards me. Dare not ask this question. You must sit there very politely and quietly. I hope you don't feel that towards me, because that's not what I'm trying to explain. I wish to relate to people. To transmit something. Now, you've probably never seen me before this evening, and probably you'll never see me again. We just meet in passing. It doesn't matter whether you know my name or my history or anything like that. It doesn't matter. I hope you don't remember these things. It's not important. What is important is that you should pay attention to what is being said and think about it. Is this relevant or not? Is it true or not? Is it useful to me or not? These are the questions you should ask. Not, where's this monk come from? And how many years has he been a monk? And, what has he attained? And so on. These things should not concern you. If you ask me these things and I tell you about me, there is no way for you to know whether I'm telling the truth or not. I could be bluffing you. You have no way of knowing. So I don't like to talk about myself and my personal details. I want to talk about things that people can verify for themselves, that do not depend upon any person. So you can forget about me, the speaker, but think about the words he speaks. If you do not, you won't know. If it works not. Any more questions? Newcomers. So a few newcomers at the back there. Have you any questions? Perhaps I should ask you some questions.
Like you mentioned about Dhamma, is it the Dhamma that Buddha expounded, or the universal Dhamma that...
You've used the right term, universal Dhamma. I'm very happy to hear this. This is the best word, best term. Universal Dhamma, as opposed to sectarian Dhamma, sectarian Buddhism, or ethnic Buddhism. We must be very careful. Don't get sidetracked. Don't be satisfied with sectarian Buddhism. Try to find universal Dhamma. And universal Dhamma is something that applies to everyone and everything, not just to one group of people. Dhamma is not just for Buddhists. Dhamma is for everybody. It embraces everybody and everything. Anicca, dukkha, anatta. the real universal Dhamma. You've used the right term.
According to the Sutta that only the Dhamma that Buddha expounded can help us our research text.
No. The Buddha once was passing through a forest with some of his monks, and he bent down and picked up a handful of leaves. Which do you think are more numerous, he said, the leaves in my hand or the leaves in the forest? Of course, the monk said the leaves in your hand are only few. The leaves in the forest are without number. Buddha said, what I have taught you is like the leaves in my hand. What I know but I haven't taught you is like the leaves in the forest. We cannot find the answers to all our questions in the Buddhist scriptures. They're not there. All the questions that we could possibly ask, the answers are not there. And if you depend upon the scriptures to provide all the answers for you, you'll be going in the supermarket and think now, oh, what did the scriptures say about this product? Which one am I going to buy? You know, and silly things like this. Buddhism doesn't aim to provide us with all the answers. It aims at something better, to help us to develop the intelligence and wisdom to find our own answers, not second-hand answers, direct personal answers. I know that there is a reference in the scriptures which says that only through the Buddha Dhamma can people become enlightened, but I don't accept that. You can find this kind of teaching in every religion, and that's a way they have of trying to keep their followers. This is not Dhamma. Dhamma is universal. You cannot say only in Buddhism can people find liberation. I don't accept that. There was no Buddhism when the Buddha became enlightened. Was there? There was no Buddha Dhamma when the Buddha became enlightened. He found Dhamma. And Dhamma, it's not a name. It's not even called Dhamma. It is what it is. It's not the monopoly of Buddhism. Universal Dhamma. Not Buddha Dhamma.
That you that a Christian or a Muslim also can be enlightened.
Why not?
But a Christian or Buddhist has the concept of I.
It doesn't matter who has the concept.